I was helping my brother Marcus prepare for his wedding when everything I thought I knew about his fiancée shattered in a single phone call. He had finally found happiness after years of rebuilding himself, and Diane seemed perfect for him. They were building something beautiful together, a life free from the chaos that defined our childhood. But then his voice cracked over the phone last night, and I knew something was about to break. When he said those words, she invited Mom after everything, my stomach dropped. I understood exactly what that meant. The woman we had spent 3 years protecting ourselves from was about to walk back into our lives, and what followed was worse than anything I could have imagined. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your location in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear how a simple wedding invitation destroyed everything my brother built and led to the most manipulative pregnancy claim I have ever witnessed. Trust me, you will not believe where this goes. Let me back up and tell you about our mother Linda. Growing up with her was like walking through a minefield blindfolded. You never knew what would set her off, but you knew that when it happened, somehow it would become your fault. She had this gift for making everything about herself. My 10th birthday party was supposed to be about me, but Linda turned it into a 3-hour drama about how nobody appreciated her hard work. I remember sitting at the table with my untouched cake, watching Marcus pull me aside to the backyard where we ate ice cream sandwiches from the freezer instead. He was 14, then already learning to shield me from her storms. Marcus always took the worst of it. He was the oldest, so he became her primary target. When things went wrong in her life, and they always did according to her, it was because Marcus did not call enough, did not visit enough, did not care enough. The gaslighting was constant. You are too sensitive, Clyde. That never happened, you are remembering it wrong. She had this way of rewriting history until you questioned your own memory. I watched Marcus grow quieter over the years, shrinking himself to avoid triggering her rage. The breaking point came 3 years ago at Thanksgiving dinner. We were at Linda's house, the whole family gathered around her dining table. Marcus had just gotten a promotion at work, something he was proud of. But when he mentioned it, Linda laughed. A promotion to what you are, 32 years old and barely making what your father made at 25. The table went silent. Marcus tried to laugh it off, said he was happy with his career path. That was when Linda really went in. She called him a disappointment, a waste of potential. Told him she had expected so much more from her firstborn son. I watched my brother's face turn red, then pale. He set down his fork carefully the way you do when you are trying very hard not to lose control. Mom, that is not fair, he said quietly. Not fair, Linda's voice rose. I sacrificed everything for you boys. Everything. And this is how you repay me. By being mediocre, Marcus stood up then. I am not doing this anymore. We are leaving. Linda immediately switched tactics, her voice breaking, tears forming. How can you speak to your mother this way? After all I have done, I am the victim here. Everyone at the table knew it was manipulation, but years of conditioning made some relatives nod sympathetically toward her anyway. Marcus grabbed his coat. Come on, Clyde. We left together, and in the parking lot he turned to me. I am done. I cannot do this anymore. Can you? I shook my head. I had been waiting for permission to walk away, and my big brother just gave it to me. That was the last time either of us spoke to Linda. We blocked her number, avoided family events where she would be present, built a life without her toxic presence. And honestly, those 3 years were the most peaceful either of us had known. Then Marcus met Diane. It was at a charity event downtown in Portland about 2 years after we cut contact with our mother. Marcus had started volunteering, trying to fill his time with positive activities. Diane was coordinating the event, this energetic woman with red hair and a clipboard managing everything with impressive efficiency. I watched them meet, saw the way they looked at each other. Marcus came home that night talking about her for the first time, and I knew something had shifted. They started dating, and Diane was good for him. She understood toxic families because she had one too. Her father had been an alcoholic in and out of rehab throughout her childhood. She got it, or so we thought. She and Marcus bonded over their shared experiences with dysfunction, spent hours talking about boundaries and healing. After a year of dating, Marcus proposed at the same venue where they had met. I was there when he asked her, saw the joy in his face. It was the happiest I had ever seen my brother. Diane said yes, and they started planning a small, intimate wedding. 60 guests, a beautiful venue outside the city, everything carefully chosen. And importantly, meaningfully, no Linda. We never talked about inviting her. It was understood. This was Marcus's day, his fresh start, and our mother had no place in it. I was going to be his best man. We picked out suits together, laughed about the bachelor party we were planning, talked about his future with Diane. Everything felt right. Everything felt safe. Until that phone call on a Friday night at 11 p.m. that shattered everything. My phone buzzed on the nightstand and I saw Marcus's name. Weird timing, but I answered. His voice sounded different, hollow. "Clyde, we need to talk. Can I come over?" I said yes immediately, and 20 minutes later he was sitting on my couch looking like he had aged 5 years in a day. Diane added Mom to the guest list. Behind my back. I thought I had misheard. What he rubbed his face with both hands. She invited Linda to the wedding. She has been talking to her for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Clyde. And she did not tell me. My brain could not process it. Why would Diane do that? Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. She thinks families should reconcile. She thinks weddings heal wounds. She gave me this whole speech about forgiveness and moving forward, like she understands what we went through, like it is that simple. I felt anger rising in my chest. Did you tell her no? Of course I told her no. I told her absolutely not. But she already sent the invitation. Linda already accepted. She is excited about it, apparently. The word excited made my skin crawl. Our mother excited to attend a wedding she had no right to be part of. Marcus, you cannot let this happen. I know. That is why I am here. I do not know what to do. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of it crushing. The next morning I drove to Marcus's apartment. I needed to see this for myself. Needed to understand how Diane could think this was acceptable. When I arrived, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Marcus looked like he had not slept. Diane was there too, her eyes red from crying tissue clutched in her hand. I walked in, and she looked at me like I was her ally. Clyde, thank God. Maybe you can talk sense into him. I sat down carefully. Diane, why did you invite Linda? She started crying again. Because she is his mother. Because families should be together for important moments. She reached out to me a month ago through Facebook and we talked. She seemed genuinely sorry for everything. She wants to make amends. Marcus made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob. She seemed sorry. She always seems sorry, Diane. That is what she does. That is her pattern. But people can change, Diane insisted. My therapist said, forgiveness is an important part of healing. I had to step in. Your therapist does not know Linda. Your therapist did not grow up with her. Marcus shot me a grateful look. Exactly. You do not understand what she put us through. Diane's expression hardened. Then help me understand. Because right now you are asking me to uninvite your mother from our wedding, and that feels cruel. That word cruel seemed to break something in Marcus. He stood up slowly. Cruel. You want to know what is cruel, Diane? Let me tell you what is cruel. When I was 16 years old, I had a college fund. My grandmother left it to me. $5,000. Not a lot, but enough to help. Linda spent it. All of it. On a vacation with her boyfriend. When I confronted her, she said I did not appreciate her enough, that I was selfish for questioning how she spent her money. Her money. My college fund. I worked 3 jobs through college, Diane. 3 jobs. I barely slept. I almost failed out my first year because I was so exhausted. And the whole time Linda told our relatives that I had abandoned the family, that I was too good for her now. Diane was pale, but she pressed on. That is awful, Marcus. It really is. But that was years ago. Maybe she has changed. Marcus turned to her, and I saw something die in his eyes. When Clyde was 13, Linda forgot his birthday. Completely forgot. He came home from school expecting a cake, a card, something. Nothing. When he got upset, she screamed at him for being ungrateful. She said he was selfish for expecting her to remember everything. He was 13 years old, Diane. He cried in my room that night, and I took him out for burgers with money I had been saving. That is who Linda is. She does not change. She just finds new people to manipulate. I will never forget that birthday. Marcus was right. I had been so excited all day at school, and coming home to nothing, to my mother's anger at my disappointment, had broken something in me. Diane looked between us, tears streaming down her face. But I already invited her. I cannot uninvite her now. That would be so awkward. Marcus's voice went very quiet. Then we have a problem. Because I will not have her at my wedding. I will not stand at that altar and pretend everything is fine while she sits there playing the loving mother for everyone to see. You need to choose Diane, her, or me. The ultimatum hung in the air like smoke. Diane's face crumpled. You are making me choose between you and basic decency. Between you and forgiveness. Marcus shook his head. I am making you choose between respecting my boundaries and violating them. I told you about Linda. I told you why we do not have contact. You went behind my back anyway. You decided you knew better than I did about my own trauma. That is what this is really about. Diane stood up, angry now. Fine. Fine. If that is how you feel, then maybe we should not get married at all. Maybe I do not want to marry someone who cannot forgive, who holds grudges, who is so damaged he cannot see when someone is trying to help him. The word damaged hit like a slap. I saw Marcus flinch. Okay, he said simply. Okay. He picked up his jacket from the chair. I will send someone for my things. The wedding is off. And he walked out. I sat there in the sudden silence, stunned. Diane collapsed back onto the couch, sobbing. Clyde, please. Talk to him. Make him understand. I stood up slowly. Diane, you crossed a line. You knew how he felt about Linda, and you did it anyway. But she is his mother. She is a narcissist who abused him for years. There is a difference. I left her there crying and went to find my brother. Marcus was sitting in his truck in the parking lot, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring straight ahead. I got in the passenger seat. You okay? No. He did not look at me. But I will be. You did the right thing. I know. It still hurts. I reached over and squeezed his shoulder. You can stay with me as long as you need. He nodded, started the engine, and we drove to my place in silence. That night he slept in my guest room, and I heard him crying through the walls. The next 2 weeks were hard. Marcus moved his stuff into my guest room piece by piece. We fell into a routine. I would make coffee in the morning, and we would sit together before work, not saying much. In the evenings, we would cook dinner, watch sports, drink beer, and avoid talking about Diane. But she was always there, the ghost in the room. Marcus would pick up his phone, sometimes stare at it, then set it back down. I loved her, Clyde, he told me one night. I really did. But I cannot let Mom back in. Not even for her. I get it. You made the right call. He started seeing a therapist, working through everything. The breakup, the years with Linda, the betrayal of Diane going behind his back. He was doing the work, trying to heal. Diane had not contacted him at all, which surprised me. Radio silence for 2 solid weeks. I thought maybe she had accepted it was over, that she was moving on too. I was wrong. It was a Tuesday evening. Marcus and I were making tacos, laughing about something stupid, when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and froze. It is Diane. She wants to talk. She says it is urgent. I wiped my hands on a towel. What do you want to do? He stared at the phone. Maybe she wants closure. Maybe I should hear her out. Call her. Put it on speaker. I want to be here for you. He nodded, grateful, and dialed her number on speakerphone. Diane answered on the second ring. Her voice sounded strange, tight. Marcus, thank you for calling. What is going on, Diane? A pause, then she said it. I am pregnant, Marcus. The kitchen went completely silent. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. Marcus's face went white. What, I am pregnant? 6 weeks along. I took a test. Actually, 3 tests. They were all positive. Marcus sat down heavily in a chair. Are you sure? His voice was barely a whisper. Yes, I am sure. It is yours. We need to talk about this. I watched my brother process this bomb she had just dropped. He looked at me lost, then back at the phone. Have you seen a doctor? Not yet. But the tests do not lie, Marcus. We need to figure this out. Marcus ran his hand through his hair. We need to talk in person. Tomorrow. Where? The coffee shop. On Morrison Street. Noon. I will be there. Okay. Marcus. I still love you. He did not respond to that. Just see you tomorrow, and hung up. We stood there in my kitchen, tacos forgotten. She is pregnant. Marcus said it out loud like he was testing the reality of it. 6 weeks would be right. We were still together then. This is real. I felt something twist in my gut, some instinct. Marcus, I need to say something and you might not want to hear it. He looked at me. What? The timing feels convenient. Really convenient. He frowned. What are you saying I am saying? Maybe you should ask for a paternity test. His face hardened. Clyde, that is harsh. She would not lie about this. I am not saying she is lying about being pregnant. I am saying you should be sure it is yours. Marcus stood up, paced. That is a terrible thing to suggest. Is it she just tried to manipulate you into accepting Linda back into your life? She crossed major boundaries. Now, 2 weeks after you break up, she is pregnant and wants to get back together. You do not think that is suspicious? He stopped pacing. I do not know what to think. Just consider it. For your own peace of mind. A paternity test does not mean you do not believe her. It just means you are being smart. He sighed deeply. I will think about it. Let us get through tomorrow first. The next day, Marcus asked me to come with him to the coffee shop. Moral support. I sat at a table across the room while he met Diane at a corner booth. I could not hear everything, but I watched. Diane had brought the pregnancy test sticks with her, showed him photos on her phone. They talked for over an hour. I saw her crying, saw him looking torn. When he finally came back to where I was sitting, he looked exhausted. She wants to keep it. And she wants us to get back together. What did you say? I said I need time to think. That this does not fix what happened, but that if the baby is mine, I will be there for it. She did not like that answer. No, I bet she did not. Over the next few days, I could not shake the feeling that something was off. The timing was too perfect. Diane had lost Marcus, and suddenly there was a reason he could not walk away. I mentioned it to Marcus again, more gently this time. Just ask for the paternity test. It is standard. It protects both of you. He finally agreed. You are right. I need to know for sure. Not because I think she is lying, but because I need that certainty. He texted Diane that evening. I think we should do a paternity test. Just to be certain about everything moving forward. Her response came an hour later. Are you serious right now? You do not trust me. Marcus called her to explain. I could hear her voice through the phone getting louder. This is my body, Marcus. How dare you question me? How dare you accuse me of cheating? I am carrying your child, and this is how you treat me. Marcus tried to stay calm. I am not accusing you of anything. This is just a practical step. For both of us. No. Absolutely not. If you loved me, you would trust me. But you do not, do you? You never did. She hung up on him. I was not surprised when my phone rang an hour later. It was Diane. Clyde. Can you talk? What do you want, Diane? Can you please talk sense into your brother? He is accusing me of cheating. He wants a paternity test. Like I am some kind of liar. He is not accusing you of anything. He is being practical. If you have nothing to hide, why refuse? Her voice turned cold. If he loved me, he would not need proof. This is about trust, Clyde. And clearly he does not trust me. If you have nothing to hide, the test would prove him wrong. Wouldn't that be better? She made an angry sound and hung up on me too. But the real surprise came a week later. Marcus received an email. The sender was Linda. The subject line read, "I heard about the baby." My stomach dropped when he showed it to me. How does she know? He opened the email, and we read it together. Diane had contacted Linda, told her about the pregnancy. Linda's email was classic manipulation. You need to do the right thing, Marcus. Marry her. A child needs both parents. Do not be selfish like your father was. Do not abandon your responsibilities. This baby deserves better. Marcus stared at the screen, and I watched realization dawn on his face. She is using Mom to manipulate me, Diane told her on purpose. She knew Mom would pressure me. That is exactly what she is doing. I felt anger surge through me. This is calculated, Marcus. This whole thing is calculated. He forwarded the email to me. I need to talk to a lawyer. Good. Do it today. Marcus made an appointment with Dr. Patterson, a family lawyer his friend had recommended. I went with him to the consultation. Dr. Patterson was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s, and she listened to everything without judgment. Then she laid it out clearly. If she refuses a paternity test, now you have options after the baby is born. You can petition the court for one. Document everything. Every text, every email, every interaction. Do not sign anything, especially not a birth certificate until you have definitive proof. And do not let her or anyone else pressure you into marriage or financial commitments until you know for certain this child is yours. Marcus looked relieved for the first time in weeks. What should I do now? Send her a clear message. Tell her you will support the child if it is yours, but you need proof. Keep it simple and direct, and communicate only through me from now on. Give her my contact information. Marcus nodded. He drafted a text right there in Dr. Patterson's office. Diane, I will support the child if it is mine, but I need confirmation through a paternity test. Until then, please direct all communication through my lawyer, Dr. Patterson. Her contact information is below. I am not trying to hurt you. I am protecting both of us. He sent it. Within minutes, his phone exploded with texts from Diane. Anger, insults, guilt trips. You are abandoning your child. You are just like your father. You are a coward. How can you do this to me? On and on. Dr. Patterson watched calmly. Block her number. Now. All communication goes through me. Marcus blocked her, and I saw the tension leave his shoulders. Thank you, he said to Dr. Patterson. I feel like I can breathe again. You are doing the right thing, she assured him. Protect yourself. That is not selfish. That is smart. A few days later, I got a call from Brian, Marcus's best friend from college. Clyde, I need to tell you something. I do not know if it matters, but I feel like Marcus should know. What is it I saw Diane 2 months ago, before the breakup? She was at the gym where I work out. With some guy. They were together like... Together. Holding hands, laughing. It looked intimate. Did you tell Marcus no? I did not want to start drama. But now with this pregnancy thing, I thought he should know. Can you describe the guy, tall, dark hair, maybe late 30s? Wore expensive workout gear. I did not recognize him. Thanks for telling me, Brian. I will let Marcus know. When I told Marcus, he did not seem surprised. He seemed relieved. I knew something was wrong. I felt it. I just could not see it clearly. But this makes sense. She was probably pregnant with that guy's baby. And when they broke up or he did not want it, she panicked. Tried to pin it on me. It is possible. Or she was not pregnant at all and just said it to get you back. Either way, you did the right thing. Marcus nodded slowly. I am done, Clyde. I am completely done. Whatever happens from here, I am out. I just want to move on. You will. You are already starting to. And then 2 weeks after Marcus blocked her number, after all the drama and threats and manipulation, Diane sent one final text. It came to Dr. Patterson's office email, so Marcus saw it. 4 words. I lost the baby. No details. No explanation. No hospital records or doctor's note. Just those 4 words. Marcus read it and handed me his phone. I am sorry for your loss. Take care. That is all I am going to say. He replied exactly that and closed his phone. Is it terrible that I feel relieved? I shook my head. No, because you do not believe she was ever pregnant. Or you do not believe it was yours. Both. Either. Does it matter? No. I guess it does not. A month later, Brian saw Diane at a bar downtown. He texted me a photo. She was laughing, drinking, looking perfectly fine. No signs of grief, no signs of ever having been pregnant. Her stomach was flat, her body unchanged. Brian did not approach her, but he sent Marcus the photo. Marcus looked at it, showed it to me, and shrugged. I already knew. The truth was obvious from the beginning. I just needed time to accept it. Do you think she lied about being pregnant entirely, or was pregnant with someone else's baby? Honestly, I think she lied. I think she saw an opportunity to manipulate me back into the relationship, and she took it. When it did not work, she conveniently had a miscarriage that required no proof. And Linda. He smiled grimly. Linda was just another tool. Diane knew exactly what she was doing when she contacted her. She studied me, learned my weaknesses, and used them against me. That is not love. That is manipulation. The months that followed were about healing. Marcus continued therapy, working through the layers of betrayal and manipulation he had experienced. Not just from Diane, but from Linda, from the patterns that had repeated throughout his life. He learned about narcissistic abuse, about how people who grow up with it often attract similar dynamics in their adult relationships. I did not see it, he told me one evening over dinner. I thought Diane was different because she had her own trauma. But she was using that trauma to justify controlling behavior, just like Mom did. We started having weekly dinners, just the two of us, talking more openly than we ever had. The brother bond we had always had grew stronger, deeper. Marcus started dating again after 6 months, but slowly, carefully. He was learning to recognize red flags, to trust his instincts. I am not bitter, he told me. I am just wiser. There is a difference. And I saw it in him. He was lighter somehow, despite everything. Free from the weight of people who demanded pieces of him he could not afford to give. As for Linda, she tried reaching out a few more times. Through relatives, through Facebook messages to me, through cards sent to Marcus's old address. We did not respond. It was not about anger anymore. It was about peace. You cannot have a relationship with someone who refuses to acknowledge the harm they caused, Marcus said. And I do not need her to acknowledge it anymore. I just need her to not be in my life. We both agreed. The door was closed, and it was staying closed. I learned something through all of this too. I learned that some people use vulnerability as a weapon. They share their pain not to connect, but to disarm you. Diane did that. She used her father's alcoholism to make Marcus feel like she understood, to gain his trust, and then she violated that trust in the worst way possible. And when he set a boundary, she tried to trap him with a pregnancy that probably never existed. It was calculated. It was cruel. And it taught me to be more careful about who I let into my inner circle. The biggest lesson, though, came from watching Marcus walk away. He loved Diane, really loved her. But he loved himself more. He loved his peace more. He loved his boundaries more. And when she asked him to sacrifice those things to let Linda back in, to ignore his own needs for her idea of family healing, he said no. And then when she tried to trap him with a baby, he said no again. He did not let guilt or manipulation or the fear of being alone make him compromise his well-being. That takes courage. More courage than most people have. Sometimes the hardest thing is walking away from someone you love. But I watched my brother choose himself over guilt, over manipulation, over false promises. He called off that wedding and it saved his life. Not in a dramatic way, but in a real way. Because real love does not ask you to sacrifice your peace. It does not invite your demons to the altar and call it healing. It does not fake a pregnancy to keep you trapped. Real love respects your boundaries. It honors your trauma. It does not try to fix you by breaking you first. Marcus is doing better now. We both are. He met someone new recently. A teacher named Sarah, who is kind and patient and respectful. It is early, but I see hope in his eyes again. Not the desperate clinging hope he had with Diane, but something steadier. Something built on mutual respect instead of shared wounds. And me, I am more careful now about the people I let close. I watch for patterns. I trust my instincts. I learned from my brother's experience that sometimes the people who seem to understand your pain best are the ones who know exactly how to use it against you. If you are in a situation like this, I hope you find the strength to walk away too. You deserve more than someone who uses your pain against you. You deserve more than manipulation disguised as love. You deserve peace. And sometimes peace means choosing yourself even when it hurts. Even when everyone tells you that you are being unreasonable or unforgiving or cruel, boundaries are not cruel. They are survival. And if someone cannot respect yours, they do not deserve access to you. I want to hear from you now. Have you ever had to cut off a family member or end a relationship because of manipulation? How did you find the strength to do it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about boundaries, healing, and choosing yourself. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who is struggling to walk away from a toxic situation. Your support means everything, and I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to listen to our story. I hope it helped you feel less alone if you are going through something similar. Take care of yourself out there. You are worth protecting. Until next time, choose peace.